The fish did not die because you did something wrong. It died because it was never going to survive the tank it was sold into, and PetSmart knew that before the bag was filled with water. The system is not broken. It is working exactly as designed. The store's job ends at the transaction. What happens after is your problem. Here are 10 fish PetSmart sells that die in most tanks, and the reason number 7 on this list is still the one that should genuinely make you angry. Number 1, the Bala Shark. 2 inches. Silver. Schooling beautifully in the display tank. Everything about the way PetSmart presents the Bala Shark says peaceful community fish. Nothing about the way PetSmart presents the Bala Shark says 14 inches. Bala Sharks reach 14 inches in a standard home aquarium, and when that happens inside a 29-gallon tank, the instinct to move across open water has nowhere to resolve. What follows is stress swimming constant, relentless movement, glass bouncing, nervous energy that never settles because the tank simply cannot contain what the fish is trying to do. There is also a social requirement that never makes it onto the label. Bala sharks need to be kept in groups. A single Bala shark is already a welfare problem before the size issue even enters the picture. That means the real ask is multiple fish that will all outgrow the tank. The receipt did not include that footnote. It never does. Number 2 is even more deceptive because it is sold specifically as a solution. Number 2, the common Pleco. The common Pleco is the aquarium hobby's most successful misdirection. PetSmart stocks them at 3 inches, actively grazing the glass, doing exactly the job the label implies. And that image is completely real for a while. Common Plecos reach 18 inches. At that size, they stop doing the one thing they were purchased for. Adults develop preferences for wood and protein. The algae problem does not disappear, it continues, and the fish is now a net contributor to tank instability through the waste it produces at a scale that pushes filtration past its limits with no obvious cause. The cleanup crew member became the mess. A full villain arc for a fish that cost $4, by the time the Pleco has been in the tank for 3 years and is now 1.5 feet long, the realization arrives at the worst possible time. Number 3, the Chinese Algae Eater, another $4 cleanup fish. Another name that implies a permanent function. PetSmart stocks these as juveniles exactly when the label is still accurate. Nothing on the tank mentions what happens next. As Chinese algae eaters mature, they shift toward protein and develop a specific interest in the slime coat of slow-moving fish. The affected fish develops lesions. Those lesions look like a bacterial infection. The bacterial infection gets treated. The actual cause is across the tank, grazing a rock and looking completely blameless, present, peaceful, above suspicion. Meanwhile, the territorial behavior drives Corydoras toward the surface, which gets misread as a water quality problem for weeks. A $4 fish just restructured the entire social dynamic of the tank and feels nothing about it. Number 4 gets sold on personality, and the personality is genuinely real. That is exactly what makes it dangerous. Number 4, the Oscar. Oscars recognize their owners. They interact. They respond. That is a true fact with no bearing whatsoever on whether the filtration can handle one, but it is extremely effective at selling them. Minimum housing for a single adult Oscar is 75 gallons. Most people do not buy 1 Oscar. They buy 2, because 2 seems more interesting than 1. That doubles the bioload and introduces the possibility of sudden decisive aggression between fish that coexisted for months, and then one morning simply did not. The redecorating also never stops. Heaters get displaced. Decorations get relocated. The Oscar has made an editorial decision about the aquarium, and the owner slowly rearranges everything else around its vision. Number 5, Assorted African Cichlids. The word assorted is carrying an enormous amount of responsibility on that label. What it means in practice is that mbuna, peacocks, and haps were pulled from the same lake and combined into one bin because the colors looked good together. That is a reasonable retail decision. It is a disastrous fishkeeping. Mbuna are aggressive rock-dwelling fish that defend territory as a full-time occupation. Peacocks and haps are comparatively passive open-water fish with no framework for sustained hostility. Malawi cichlid aggression is only manageable through correct gender ratios, heavy female-to-male stocking that distributes aggression across enough targets. An assorted bin has no ratio logic. 3 males and 1 female go home together, and nobody knows until the tank is already destabilized. A dominant male emerges. The others have nowhere to retreat. The community collapses fast. The word assorted was accurate the whole time. Number 6, the rainbow shark. Semi-aggressive. That is what the label says. Semi-aggressive covers a remarkable amount of ground in fish retail. What it does not prepare anyone for is what happens to every Corydoras in the tank. Rainbow sharks claim the entire bottom level as territory, and every bottom-dwelling species gets permanently harassed out of that space. Corydoras end up near the surface, visibly wrong in a way that looks like disease, and gets treated as disease while the actual cause is patrolling the gravel with full territorial authority. By the time the community tank that was the original plan is clearly never happening, the rainbow shark has been there long enough to become the tank's entire personality. Number 7 is the one that has been on this list the longest, and it is still the most quietly devastating fish PetSmart sells. Number 7, the Comet Goldfish. Under $1. That is the price. That is also the first signal that something is wrong, but nobody reads it that way. Comets go into bowls. Because they are genuinely hardy, they survive that for a while, and that is the cruelest part. The fish not dying immediately is exactly what makes the setup feel acceptable when it is not. Comet goldfish reach over 12 inches. They produce more ammonia per fish than almost anything else in freshwater retail. And a comet in a proper pond can live over 20 years. That lifespan exists. It just never gets realized in the setup it was sold into because PetSmart does not mention the pond, and there were no ponds for sale near the checkout. Number 8. The Pictus Catfish. Active. Fast. Attractive. Sold in community tanks alongside fish it is going to eat. The setup is almost impressively incomplete. Small nanofish that fit in the Pictus Catfish's mouth vanish overnight. One at a time. No evidence. No witnesses. The Pictus is always somewhere completely reasonable looking when checked resting on driftwood, apparently having been there the whole time. It is the most low-drama predator in the freshwater hobby. Weeks get spent ruling out disease before the pattern becomes undeniable. By then the head count has quietly declined and the Pictus is still resting innocently, unbothered, undetected, unhurried. Number 9. The Tiger Barb. Semi-aggressive again. PetSmart uses that label for tiger barbs and then stocks them near angelfish. That one stocking decision communicates everything about how much the label actually means. Tiger barbs target long-fin fish, and they are persistent. Fin damage causes stress. Stress compromises immune function. Damaged tissue develops secondary bacterial infection. What began as a cosmetic issue becomes a full disease pathway, and it traces directly back to the tiger barbs, but only if someone is already looking. The tiger barbs always appear to be minding their own business when being watched. Keeping them in schools of 6 or more redirects aggression inward, so they start targeting each other instead. The peaceful community tank that was the whole original goal slowly becomes a tiger barb tank with a few quiet survivors who are grateful every single morning. Number 10 does everything number 6 already does, and then adds one extra feature that makes it worse. Number 10. The red-tailed shark. Everything from the rainbow shark section applies here. Territorial floor claiming. Corridoras harassed to the surface. Bottom dwellers permanently evicted from their own level of the tank. The red-tailed shark does all of that and brings one additional behavior the rainbow shark does not have. Red-tailed sharks are completely intolerant of other shark-shaped fish. PetSmart stocks both species sometimes in adjacent tanks and both look exceptional. The color contrast between a rainbow shark and a red-tailed shark is genuinely appealing, so both get purchased together. The result is two fish that cannot coexist, sharing a tank that cannot accommodate either of them at full size, in a conflict that everyone except the buyer saw coming. In a 30-gallon beginner setup with a ceramic castle and plastic plants from the accessories aisle, a single red-tailed shark is not manageable. The fish claims everything. The peaceful community that was supposed to be relaxing runs on a permanent background level of stress that is nearly impossible to reverse once the fish has decided it owns the aquarium. None of these are bad fish. Every single one belongs somewhere a proper pond, a species-only setup, a tank actually sized for the adult version of what is being purchased. The problem was never the fish. The failure was set in motion at the point of sale, with a label that said semi-aggressive and a receipt that said good luck. Know the adult size. Know the behavior. Know the tank requirements before the fish is in the bag, because the store's responsibility ended the moment the transaction did. Yours is just beginning.